as we get into it. All right, welcome back to another episode of Dried Blood. This time, following our very first gauntlet for the Grandmaster's birthday. Happy birthday to the Grandmaster.
Thank you.
Happy
I gotta know.
birthday.
I made this map as for, of course, the special occasion. What is it like going through the gauntlet? This was like the first on-screen gameplay of testing this speed race. What did you think when we announced that it was a gauntlet?
I told Mikey during the break, I said it felt very much like Legends of the Hidden Temple. Like
Yes.
in the best way.
Wow.
It was
what
the
a
best
compliment.
It was awesome. I think I was super pumped. I'm like, I'm a rogue. I have dash as a bonus action. He's toast. And then he immediately cast a spell. He's like, you have no movement. And I was like, oh fuck. This is a lot more complicated than a race. I see why it's a gauntlet, not a race. It was great. It was awesome.
It was crazy because we weren't sure. Like, we put you in the gauntlet. We weren't sure how much you were going to attack each other. Because you could have just gone straight for the. I'm going to try to be the first at the end, and just you had plenty of stuff to fight in your lane. So the fact that you guys were reaching across the aisle was super cool. I really liked that you guys did that. You were just instantly attacking.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, it definitely changes the gameplay because you have to make that choice. You have to figure out, like, I have to move forward, but do I need to, figure out, like, am I going to try to avoid the obstacle with the spell, or am I going to try to, like, slow him down with the spell or do a little bit of damage or whatever? So, I mean, it definitely makes you think outside the box for sure, D&D wise, and it's a lot more fun that way for sure.
Yeah. Lots of strategy and thinking about what do I do? Is it worth it? Or do I have to save it for whatever I'm running into next, such as a line of flying snakes?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I have to use a trick now.
Or 2 lines of flying snakes.
Yeah. That was just pulling shit out of my ass because that was like
Nat 20, man. It carries a lot of weight around here.
Yeah.
That was great. I loved every moment of that because when you did that, I was like, oh, I was just going to run. My whole plan was just run the entire time, and playing a chaotic character like that in this scenario is the worst idea. So yeah, it's like I'm just gonna Naruto run through this entire thing.
Yeah, Dan's like, I'm gonna wait and see what he does first.
Yeah, he played it smart. Dan Kowalski,
hey,
he's a
polo wearer.
I mean, if you were a sponge, you could definitely run through and just be like, I will take all of it. I have all the health points worth it. Because there were some HP recovery points later on at the end. So it could be worth it depending on, again, your strategy choice.
Right.
Can we just talk about for a second? Sorry to interrupt, but can we talk about for a second how, speaking of that HP boost, that you got like all of the HP, you got like 50 points of health there.
Yeah.
And then you still died.
Oh, trust me, the flavor of this episode was bitter. It was like I was so I kept going like a roller coaster. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna die. I need help. Maybe I'll just do a ploy where I'm like, maybe he'll help me because I saved him. Then he kind of did, and then I was like, oh, I healed. I'm good. I'm gonna kill him the second I get a chance. And it was like he's down. He's rolling death saves. I killed this giant thing. I'm on high, and then he's like, 1 HP. Sleep, baby. I was like, oh crap. When you said the spell level, I had to spell up the whole time because I'm like, he's not letting that one go.
Nope.
Because you tried to do it at the beginning, and I had it up, and I went and looked, and I went, fuck. It's brilliant.
He picked that one up just for you.
Yeah, I really like how it was so crazy. I really did like how you did the HP points because you don't know if it's good or bad because like the way you said it was like it's an old hag. And you're like, well, those are bad, but knowing them, it could be good. So you're like, I don't know. Like, I really don't. I'm like, then the Veggie Tales from Hell showed up.
Yeah,
that's an oxymoron, isn't it?
We workshopped those in the car today, so and the Grandmaster.
I was so glad those got rolled.
The Grandmaster drew them herself, so that was a special treat.
That was
Tony
great.
the carrot and Brenda the broccoli.
I'd like to. We don't usually do this, but because it's the first gauntlet, I'd like to take you back and see a few things that you missed.
Yeah, for sure.
That you could have had. As we dive back into the cave map. Let me just go ahead and reveal a few things and jump in here, Grandmaster. If you want anything, the chest had keys. There was a key in the spider webs.
Oh,
but had you noticed that, there were also a couple of giant spiders. to fight here in this cave. So,
Gotcha.
as well as we had played back and forth depending on time allowing. There were also these weapons would have been mimics potentially.
Yes, baby mimics.
Baby
Don't get me
mimics.
wrong, not full fledged, but baby mimics. They're in there practicing their ability to morph.
Mm-hmm.
So any of the objects in there, they're learning. They're learning. It's their training grounds.
They're
That's
zoo
brilliant.
bats.
That is brilliant.
So we had a few extra things in the cave that it didn't quite get to, but and then this final boss round. And now we decided that when we did this, we're like, okay, we're gonna let them flip a coin because if they end up in the same area, that could be chaotic too. But had you ended up in different areas, one of you would have been fighting the Strigoi.
Ah, a vampiric-like creature.
Ooh, the Strigoi sounds like Italian noodles I want to eat.
Mm-hmm.
He does have like a noodle-like thing that sucks the blood.
Yeah,
Oh.
got
It also has babies.
It
You'll
does.
be fighting 3 babies.
Ravenous children.
I'm really glad we ended up in the top part. And
The
not the bottom part.
Sturge.
Yeah.
Every time that he draws blood from you, it does necrotic damage to you, and then it heals for that amount of points.
Oh,
Oh, man.
So it's a
Brutal.
rough one. It has a multi attack. It gets to claw and then try to siphon your blood.
Like a little straw.
So whoever got that one was that was going to be in the rough shape, I thought. But so you both avoided that. And it worked out fantastic still because, man, I still can't get over that sleep. It was so
that's
good.
brilliant.
It's not even just the sleep. It's the 1 hit point wonder here. Ooh,
Yeah, 3 death saves in a row, successes.
yeah.
How's that feel
Talk
to
about
succeed?
luck. Did you really think you were going to succeed? Yeah.
no. So here's the thing. I go in to these death matches expecting to fail spectacularly. I don't go in looking for success. And so when I was like, oh, death saving throws, cool. I'm gonna roll 3 like ones in a row. Easy. And then the dimension door play was like I forgot about the health, the hero points. I was like, okay, cool. If they let me get away with that attack of opportunity, I have a chance.
Yeah.
And then it was the second I popped up, I thought he was gonna move and like chuck a dagger at me. And I was like, oh, it's over. And then the other thing I thought was like, I'm gonna try to sleep, and it's gonna be like I'm gonna roll like 37. He's gonna be like 42. And so I was just like hoping that I had a spell slot where I had enough dice that I could just be like, I'm gonna overshoot, like I'm gonna shoot for the moon and hope to land in Texas.
Yep.
So, and
But
that's
even
what
then, you were only like 10 over.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like that was my only. So that was the thing. Like I had used my 6th spell slot I hadn't used a 6th spell slot yet. I'd used it by both 5th spell slots, one for sleep and one for the draconic spirit. So I was like, I didn't want to use the 6th one because I was like, if I somehow something happened and I lived, I needed the 6th one for the next sleep if I could live. Because I was like, motherfucker, I'm gonna put you to sleep.
Yeah, that draconic spirit was I haven't seen that spell before.
Oh,
That's pretty cool.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Well, and I didn't look far enough to see there was a cave, and that's when I went, fuck. Because I was like, oh, I'm gonna ride this bitch to the, and he went, you can go here. I went, shit. Yeah.
The fun fact, the manticores also would have been stopped by that small cave opening
Yes.
as
The
well.
manticores could not follow you in.
Okay.
They wouldn't have been able to squeeze through the opening, but this was a crazy ending. We've never had anybody get put to sleep
Yeah.
in a match. People have tried. I think it's been tried one other time, maybe.
Mhm.
And they
it's
didn't
not
have the hit
succeeded.
points.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, because sleep's a confusing one because not everyone realizes like you have to roll to see how many hit points you can affect of someone. And, so it's got to be a small creature or someone who's damaged.
And depending on their type of features they have, they may not be able to be put to sleep.
Yeah.
Like elves or
right.
something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Elves,
So you got to
And
be careful.
monks.
If you're like me, you misread it at the very beginning.
That's fine. If reading is difficult for you, that also makes it challenging.
You know what's funny is my reading comprehension ACT was a 27. So
I'll brag a little bit more. Okay.
yeah,
This is why we got to get rid of the ACT.
Look
Proof.
where you're
math-
at now.
my math was a 14, so we averaged out just fine.
All right. Well, we usually end this thing with some. Oh, before we do that, sorry. What I wanted to, because we made this map. It was a custom made map.
Oh
Caustic
yes.
made the entire thing, all 3 maps.
Oh,
We made
nice.
this in, or she made this in One More Multiverse, which is
Super
a
awesome.
tabletop simulator where you can build maps and stuff. We found it recently. I think it's really cool. So if you've got the time to invest in building custom maps and systems and stuff like that, it's really cool 8-bit style. You can do all the sorts of storytelling. It's got a lot really cool animations and stuff in it as well.
Let me
Yeah.
plug things in for it. Like, this is an amazing, not just map builder, but you can play, you can upload your stats, all of your characters that you want. You can choose to make, when you're doing the world building, of building entire towns and floors. You can have transports or actual, little items that you touch and it automatically moves those characters to different areas on the map. You can
Oh
choose to
wow.
make things walkable or make them doors that they have to open or that they can interact. Like if they click and pick something up, like the little detail about it automatically pops up. You can play it in game. We decided, for the sake of our means and the time purposes and teaching people how to use it, we used it only as a map builder, but this is really just scratching the surface. And literally there are jungles, swamps, towns, cities, fortresses,
It's
all different
crazy.
types of different locations that you can build out, and they have a ton of monsters and NPCs as well built out as in it. So it's
So
fantastic.
it's called One More Multiverse, and you can go to their site, or their Discord is the place you can get access to. It's in beta right now, technically. So, but it is insanely cool. And I wish we had more time during the day to build things in it so that we could use them here. But it's very customizable. It's very cool. So, but
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
With that said, final words from you or your characters, Mike. Any final words?
Gordy,
Um,
go get him.
Gordy got. Um, but yeah, happy birthday, Grandmaster. You're a lovely overlord,
One is
and we
born
gotta
and
go bowling in the afterlife.
We'll put up some pins for you, I promise.
one is born and one dies. And Dan Kowalski, any final words?
The name.
Like my good friend Leonardo da Vinci once said, happy birthday from the Hooters crew. Happy birthday. I don't remember the rest of it. But let me tell you, it was primo stuff.
All right. You heard it. The words of a champion. We'll see you on the next D20 Deathmatch.